Welcome to Talent Talk, Connor Stone. Connor Stone would start his junior career with the East Malvern Knights. As a 14-year-old, Connor would get his first taste at representative football, representing the South Metro Junior Football League in the Victorian Championships. Then at 15, Connor would be identified and join the Oakleigh Chargers pathway system. At 16, Connor would make his debut for the St Kevin's College First 18 football side in the ABS. In 2019, Connor would make the under-18 squad for the Oakleigh Chargers, kicking 5 goals on debut against the Murray Bushrangers. He would then hold his spot and go on to win the premiership with his Oakleigh Chargers teammates. Welcome to Talent Talk, Connor Stone.
Hi guys, welcome to Talent Talk. Today our guest is Connor Stone from the Oakleigh Chargers. Welcome, Connor.
Thanks for having me, Greg. Thanks for that, Brendan.
No worries, bud. So just wanted to get to the first question. We talked a little bit before the interview about COVID and 2020, and it's been a bit of a curveball year. How have you balanced your football commitments with COVID this year, and what were your hopes for this year?
Yeah, I think coming into the year, I was hopeful of having a successful season, both at school footy and for Chargers as well. And you know, whether that came with individual accolades, I wasn't too worried. But as long as we were playing good team footy and I was having an impact, that was my goal. And I think in terms of COVID, it's probably I also play some games for Vic Metro as well. I was hoping to get a good run at the championships and show my talent. And obviously COVID's impacted that, and I only got the one practice match in, which was good experience, and a few I guess scrimmage sort of stuff with school training in the term 2 break, which was good. But it hasn't changed my motivation, and still want to get drafted, still hopeful, and still been working my ass off in this period. So hopefully it all turns out all right. But it's been an interesting year.
It sure has. So we've known you for a little while now, Connor, but can you tell our viewers out there, what is your football journey? Where did you start from, and how did you end up getting to the level of where you're at now?
Yeah, so I played my junior footy at the East Malvern Knights, and it was there until under 15s, and unfortunately we didn't have too much success. We made one grand final and got belted by about 60 points, even though we came in favourite. So it wasn't the most memorable day, but and then I was actually initially on Sandy's list, but because my house was in the Oakleigh region, I got rezoned, and that's turned out pretty well, and spent a few weeks in the under 15s.
Thanks, Greg.
He can.
Spent a few weeks in the under 15s program, and then got on board the 16s with Ant and obviously all the blokes down there, and that was a good experience, and probably didn't turn out how I wanted it to, but I learned a lot about myself and my footballing ability, and sort of took that into the 2018 school season and got a few Guernseys for the first, and that was an awesome experience playing alongside the likes of Riley West and James Rowbottom, who've gone on to bigger and better things, as well as Nick Bryan and Jack Marnie, and then obviously the players you play against as well are high quality too. And I sort of took that momentum from 2018 into 2019 and had a pretty solid pre-season at Oakleigh, and was training in the back line at the start and couldn't get a game there, and did all right at school footy. And when that bye came around, got a gig at Oakleigh and did all right and maintained my spot for the final series. And it was awesome to achieve that team success last year in the premiership, and disappointed that we weren't able to do the same or anywhere near the same level at school footy. But to do that with that bunch of boys at Oakleigh last year was really special.
Oh, good. So you mentioned your school footy, and you mentioned their Oakleigh as well. Which program do you find to be the most challenging? And if there was anything you could change, what would you change about both programs?
I think they probably provide a good balance between the two in a normal season, where the school's more a contested style because it doesn't have the anti-density rule, whereas Oakleigh, that provides, with that density rule, you get a little bit more freedom, and especially playing as a forward last year, there was a lot more space, and they're bigger grounds too, and that helped. And I think probably the the competition and level of play in the NAB League is a level above APS. But I think that grunt and that, I guess, passion you have within your teammates. Not to say that we didn't have passion at Oakleigh last year, but you're playing alongside all your real best mates at school footy, and it's something you don't get in too many places. So they're both, and they correlate, or they work well together. So
Oh, cool.
And you've already spoken about a couple of your highlights along your journey. Is there a moment that really stands out for you as your favourite highlight in your career thus far?
Yeah, I think it was probably in that under 15s year at East Malvern. We finished second and got the double chance final, and came up against a team who they didn't lose for 2 or 3 years or what have you, and just were really dominant. And we came up and was playing in the team with Peachy and a few of the Caulfield boys, and we're down about 5 or so goals at 3/4 time, and ended up rolling them with a kick virtually after the siren. And there's video footage of the coach general going absolutely nuts because his son kicked it, and it was one of the best moments of my football career. And it was just awesome experience to celebrate with those boys and reaching the grand final. And unfortunately, we didn't get the result 2 weeks later, but that moment was pretty cool.
And along your journey as well, what people or coaches have really helped you to get to the level you are now? Is there anyone that stands out?
Yeah, there's probably a few. I think obviously having Dad around the house, he's got a wealth of knowledge. He's coach of the century at the school, so he's not bad, and he's given me heaps of tips. And the car rides home for most people can be a bit annoying, but I guess with Dad's knowledge of footy, he's always got a good insight into what I did. And most of the stuff it's positive, as parents do, but he does have a good level of criticism for me too. And then I guess last year with Stevie Powell in the footy team, he was awesome for me. His knowledge of the game and positioning and stuff like that in the forward line at school was awesome. And then he was complimented really well by the guys at Oakleigh, in Clarkey and Jamo as well. They were instrumental in my footy development last year, and really thank them for what they've done for my footy.
Awesome. And we've seen you solidify a spot at Oakleigh up forward and show some of your best traits there. Do you see yourself as a genuine forward, or do you see yourself developing in a variety of roles?
Yeah, I think, I played most of my junior footy in the back line. And so at the moment, that's probably where I feel most comfortable. But I think, again, my versatility is probably one of my strengths. And so, it gives me other options and gives the coaches other options when my name's on the team board. So, but ideally with my footy, I'd like to develop into that mid forward role. I think I got the attributes to do that, and I was looking forward to honing a bit of my midfield craft this year. But with no competition and no training, that unfortunately didn't happen. But hopefully I can transition into that sort of mould player.
Right, and just on that, you said there that it was kind of hard this year to work on anything. Just on that, with us having such an interrupted year, have you been able to improve your game in any certain areas? And what areas do you see as a deficiency? Yeah,
I think probably the 2 areas I saw as my main 2 weaknesses at the start of the year, or areas of improvement, were my probably confidence, and then also my kicking penetration and cleanliness in contested situations on the ground and in the air.
Right.
And I think probably the last 2 probably feed into that confidence. And I saw that grow over the preseason from 2019 to 2020. And, I felt like I was part of the leadership group at both school and Oakleigh as well. So I think, that probably goes to show that I improved in that area. And then, in this break, I've been really working on getting my kicks kicks lower. So, in golf terms, probably more of a 4 or 5 iron instead of a, 7 or 8 iron. So been doing that, which is good. And then, just like, I remember hearing something about Lockie Neal, about just the amount of touch work he does before training. And I try and model that in my training sessions for, the first 10 or 15 minutes, just doing as many ground balls and handballs as I can, making sure my hands are super clean.
Yep, and you've spoken about your versatility and of what you want to do as a player, and which players inspire you, and what kind of player do you aspire to be at AFL level?
Yeah, I think the players that inspire me, probably, those courageous types that just go back to the flight. Like, I didn't see much of Glenn Archer play, but watching his highlights and hearing Dad talk about him is just, how I sort of want to go about my footy, just, all for the team, and, give it your all week in, week out, and 100% effort all the time. So that's how I want to go to it. And I think in terms of who I sort of model or take bits and pieces from, I try and, when I'm playing in the forward line, I sort of look at someone like Jordan De Goey, and he's an absolute star of the game. So I'm not comparing myself to him, but just saying the way, I guess, he goes about it and his X factor. I try and model that in my own game a little bit when I'm down in the forward line, and I guess someone, at the other end of the ground, pretty different player, but Adam Sard, who just gets the ball and runs with it. That's something I like to do when I play off the half back line.
So more of that playing on instinct.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, try and read the game and see.
Yeah. And in terms of the draft combine coming up, and speaking to a lot of clubs, what has been the weirdest question that you've answered in an AFL interview so far?
I haven't had too many weird ones. I think more so the pressure questions were a bit weird or different for me. I got, who would you replace in the team? And that was a pretty tough question, a little bit daunting, but I try and answer as truthful as I can.
That's awesome. Matt Riley reckons. The final question we've got, Connor. You've played with a lot of talented players like Matt Rowell. Who is the most talented you've played with, and what have you learnt from them? And please say someone else besides Matt Rowell.
Yeah, I was gonna lean towards Matt Rowell, but I think probably James Robon from the school, or Riley West as well. They're both. Westy was super talented, and Rowie was just a tremendous worker, and just seeing how he handled himself off the field, in the gym, and on the training track, and at school. Like, he was deputy house captain, so he's a good kid as well, or good bloke. So he was really good to play with, and absolutely dominated in the APS.
Yeah, the only reason we said don't say Matt Rowell is for the last 6 interview questions, we've asked that same question. Everyone said Matt Rowell, so just wanted something a bit different.
He's a pretty special player.
Yeah, he sure is. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Connor. We wish you all the best in the upcoming draft and also at the combine. And fingers crossed for you that you get picked up, and maybe we'll have you on later on in the year.
Thanks for that. Thanks, guys. Hopefully, all the best for your year as well. Hopefully it goes well, and once these restrictions ease, we can get out and about again.
Fingers crossed, huh?
All right. Exactly.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Awesome.